Hello everyone, my name is CJ Kester. I'm the president of the Helping Hand Project at NC State, and I'm going to be showing you how to assemble a Phoenix V2 hand by e-NABLE. There are many videos online for how to assemble a Phoenix hand. I've linked to some of the good ones in the description below, but in this video I'm going to be showing you how we prefer our hands to be assembled at the Helping Hand Project, as well as going over some common mistakes that I've seen members make. So yeah, let's get into it. So as you can see, we have the Phoenix hand here, disassembled. First thing I'm going to do is go through and name all the parts, so if I reference them later, you'll know what I'm talking about. So first, we got this big one here, obviously the palm. Right below that, we got the gauntlet. When you print yours out, it'll be flat and you'll need to thermoform it, but don't worry, I'll show you how to do that later in the video. So next we got our fingertips, our phalanges, our wrist caps, our whipple tree, our gripper box, our tensioner pin, and our retention clip, as well as a variety of pins. So with the pins, you want to make sure that you're using the correct size pin for the corresponding joint. As a general rule of thumb, you should use the smallest pins to connect the fingertips to the phalanges, the slightly thicker pins for connecting the phalanges to the palm, and the thickest pins for connecting the gauntlet to the palm. And I will do my best to specify which pins to use once we're assembling the hand. Next, I'll identify some materials and tools we're going to need to put the hand together. First, we have our dental bands, which will add tension to the hand, and our fishing line, which we'll use to open and close the hand. For padding, we have some foam padding here, as well as some moleskin, which we'll use to make the hand comfortable. We also got some Velcro, which we'll use to attach the hand to the patient. And we also got some screws here, which you'll probably need to do some trial and error to figure out which size you need for your hand. Some tools that might help you out as well are a filing set, a screwdriver, and a pair of pliers. The next step is to file your hand. So you're going to want to take any piece of your hand, we'll start with the palm, and just feel around and see if there's any rough edges or burrs that might be irritating to the skin if it's touching it. And then what you're going to do is take a file and just file that down until it's nice and smooth. Additionally, if you have any holes that have support or anything else occluding them, you want to take a file and just stick it in there and file those down. What you want for your pinholes is to make sure that they are big enough for the pins to fit through. Sometimes it's a bit of a tight fit, so if that ever happens and you can't get the pin through, you can always take a file and make the hole slightly bigger so that the pin will fit through. So yeah, now we're ready to start assembling. Assembling the fingers should be a simple first task. All you gotta do is take one of these fingertips and one of these phalanges, stick them together like so, and put a pin through them. Remember that you should be using the thinnest pins for this. The longest of these pins should be used for the thumb and the other four for the other four fingers. When you're putting your pin in, make sure that you are putting it through the rectangular shaped side, not the circular shaped side. That is the wrong way. Make sure you put it through the rectangular shaped side so that the pin will fit in like so. If you have any difficulty getting the pin through the hole, you can always file the hole down a little bit like I mentioned earlier. And yeah, I'm just going to repeat this step for the other four fingers. And there you go. So as you can see, all the fingers are assembled and they all bend very easily. Next, we're going to attach the fingers to the palm. As you can see, we have three different types of pins here that we're going to use. These should be thicker than the ones that you use to attach the fingertips to the phalanges, but not as thick as the ones that we'll use to attach the palm to the gauntlet. So we'll start with the longest pin. This will be used to attach the index and the middle fingers. So go ahead and just put them into the palm like so. And then as you can see, there's a hole here. And we'll put the pin in through there. And it should just slide right through both of the fingers. And there you go. Next, we're going to attach the ring finger and the pinky, which both should be smaller than the index and middle fingers. So go ahead and take one of the smaller pins, the ring finger, And as you can see, there's a hole on top there. Just go ahead and slide that pin in there. And we'll take the pinky and do the same. And there you go, 4 fingers attached. And lastly, we're going to attach the thumb, which is at a bit of an angle here, but it's the same process. Take the last remaining pin and just stick it through there. And there you go, all fingers have been attached. So now we are ready to thermoform. As you can see, we have our pan of hot water here, and we also have our gauntlet right here. And we're also going to use a set of pliers for this. So pretty simple what we're going to do here. All you got to do is dip the gauntlet into the hot water so that the PLA will heat up and become more ductile. And after a few seconds, you'll be able to feel that it's become softer. And then take it out, take some pliers, and then just bend the gauntlet into the correct shape. And this may take a few tries, so you can always dip the PLA back into the water to make it more pliable, and then continue bending the part. So 2 important things you want to remember when you're doing this. Firstly, how far should you bend it? Remember that you want your gauntlet to be U-shaped when you're done. The top of the gauntlet, where you see those 2 square-shaped holes, that should be where you connect to the palm, so that distance is very important. You want to make sure that it can fit right into the palm. The rest of the gauntlet should be as flat as possible. You want to give as much room for the patient's wrist as you can. If it's too big, that's okay, we can add some padding, but if it's too small, then that's a problem since it'll be tight around the wrist. Secondly, make sure that you are only bending the portion of the PLA that you have put into water. The other parts of the PLA will be hard, and so if you bend it too far, they will break. But if you just bend the portion that you've put into the water, then it'll be nice and malleable for you. This process may take you a few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this part for you. We'll do some last final tweaks, and there we go, our thermoformed gauntlet. So now we're going to attach the palm to the gauntlet. So take one of these pins, they should be the thickest pins and the only ones you have left. Stick it through the gauntlet, make sure it's pointing outwards. Then you can put it through the palm and then bend the other side so it fits in. Take one of the wrist caps and press it in. And really make sure that these are secured. Sometimes they can pop off, so make sure it's tightly on. Take the other pin, put it through the other side, and attach the wrist cap. And yep, that's it. Gauntlet attached. So the next step is to attach dental bands to the hand to give it tension. So as you can see, we got 10 dental bands, and we also have 10 of these joints. And so what we're going to do is take a dental band and then just attach them to these hooks here. I find it helps to take a small screwdriver and use that to hold the bands in place when you attach them. Yeah, so make sure it's securely on there, and then as you can see, it's got tension now. When you push the finger down, it comes back up. So now we're going to repeat this process with all the other bands. And there you go. Now all the fingers have tension. So the next step is to string the hand. And this step will probably take you the longest amount of time just because it can be a bit annoying. The way that the whippletree system works with the Phoenix hand is that 2 sets of fingers will be strung together through the whippletree, and it will act like sort of a pulley so that when you bend the wrist, both fingers will be pulled down. So we're going to start by taking a length of fishing line, and you want to have at least enough to go from the fingertip to the gauntlet and then back. And I would highly recommend taking some additional fishing line just in case you need some room for knots and such. So we'll take one end and we'll start with the pinky and index finger stringing. And so we'll tie this end to the pinky, and you can use a variety of knots here. I'm just going to keep it simple and triple knot this. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So just pull on this for a second, make sure that's nice and tight, it's not coming loose. And then we're going to loop it through this series of holes that will take the string all the way to the end of the palm. So this is pretty straightforward, so I'm going to fast forward through this part. And now we're going to put it through the whipple tree. And by the way, in case your ends ever get frayed and you find difficulty putting it through the hand, you can always take a lighter and light one of the ends just for a second, so it will become nice and pointy for you to stick it through. So then for the pinky and the index finger, we're going to stick this through the 2 farthest ends on the whipple tree. Pull through. So now you can see we strung through the whipple tree. We'll take our fishing line and loop it back through to the index finger now. And pull through. So as you can see, the pinky and the index finger are strung. So with the whipple tree, you want to make sure that the tension is equal on both sides. So hold your whipple tree up to the gauntlet and then just pull through to make sure that the string is the same length on both sides. You want to aim to have the whipple tree near the top of the gauntlet. And I would recommend that you don't tie off this knot on the index finger until you string the middle and ring fingers, just to make sure that your tension is equal on those as well. So I'm going to go ahead and string those 2 fingers and the thumb, and then we'll jump to the final strung hand. And here we have the final strung hand. So as you can see, there's 1 string left over here for the thumb, which will connect to the tensioner pin, and the other 4 go through the whipple tree. As you can see, it goes from index through the whipple tree to the pinky, and then from middle through the whipple tree to the ring finger. And so if you hold it like this and then bend the wrist, you can see the fingers go down. So next we're going to attach the gripper box, which is this box here, to the gauntlet. I'm going to start by pushing it about halfway up, and if you have any difficulty doing this, you can file down the gripper box or the gauntlet a little bit. Next we're going to take this whipple tree holder and attach the whipple tree to it. And I would recommend finding where it fits into the gripper box first and then putting the whipple tree on top of it, so it slides in a little bit easier, like so. And then push the gripper box all the way to the top, and your whipple tree should be securely in there. So next we're going to tie the thumb string through the tensioner pin. So go ahead and put it through there, and we're going to tie this as tight as possible with another triple knot. And now that that's tied off, we'll go ahead and insert the tensioner pin into the slot in the gripper box and push it all the way down. Next we're going to screw in the bottom of the gripper box. So we'll take one of these screws and put it in one of the holes in the bottom of the gripper box to hold the tensioner pin in place, and then screw this in. Then we'll repeat this with the other 2 screws for the whipple tree. So once your screws are in, now you can check the tension. The ideal tension should be when the gauntlet is at 45 degrees, your strings should be tight. So as you can see, ours are a bit loose. If this happens to you, all you gotta do is untie the strings at the fingertips and tighten them up a bit so that when you're at 45 degrees, strings are tight. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix this now. So I went ahead and tightened all of the strings, and as you can see, now all the fingers close together. The last thing you want to do is take this retention clip and stick it in the back of the gauntlet to make sure that the gripper box stays in place. So the second to last step is padding. And the way that we do padding at the Helping Hand Project is we do one layer of foam padding and one layer of moleskin. This adds both support and comfort to the hand. So we're going to go ahead and start with the foam padding. Take one strip for the gauntlet and stick it right on there. There's adhesive on the back, so it should stick right to the gauntlet. Take one piece for the palm and stick it right in there. Next we'll apply the moleskin. So go ahead and put that on top of the foam padding. There's adhesive on the back, so it should stick right to it. And when you're doing this, be sure to cover any part of the hand that you think will touch skin. We'll repeat this for the palm, covering any area that you can see that will touch skin. And there you go. We'll be sure to get the edges nice and flattened down. And there you have it. Your hand is all padded. And now for the last step, which is to add Velcro to your hand. So as you can see, we have 2 large strips for the palm and 2 thinner, longer strips for the gauntlet. We'll start with the palm. As you can see, there are screw holes on the base of the palm, as well as screws in the Velcro. So we'll go ahead and line these up and then screw it into the hand. And when you do this, make sure that you have the soft part of the Velcro facing the inside so that it's comfortable for the person who's wearing it. So we'll go ahead and screw in the other side now. And there the palm Velcro is done. So let's attach the gauntlet Velcro now. These are nice thin strips. All you gotta do is slide it into the slots here. And once again, have the soft part on the inside. And then it just loops around like so. Attach the other strip as well. And there you go. Simple as that. So now our hand is pretty much done. So I'm gonna go ahead and just strip this extra stringing off now. And now your hand is officially done. So hopefully you found something helpful in this video. This has been how to assemble a Phoenix hand. Thanks for watching.